10 Eastern Minimalist Habits That Will Transform Your Life. Expanded script. What if I revealed to you that there exists a pathway to genuine contentment that has absolutely nothing to do with purchasing another single item? What if this ancient wisdom, practiced for millennia by cultures known for their longevity, profound happiness, and remarkably organized living spaces, could revolutionize your entire existence in just a matter of weeks? Stop scrolling right now because in the next few minutes, I'm going to unveil 10 transformative minimalist principles rooted in Eastern philosophy that don't just promise to declutter your closet, they will fundamentally rewire how your mind processes the world around you. Today, I'm Elena, and I'm about to challenge everything you believe about what it takes to live a fulfilling life. These aren't just organizational tips. These are life-altering mindset shifts that ancient Eastern masters have perfected over centuries. Before we dive deep into these game-changing habits, if you're ready to transform your life from overwhelmed to intentional, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this community of people who are choosing depth over clutter, meaning over materialism. And as we journey through these principles together, drop a comment below sharing which habit you're most excited to try. I read every single one, and your engagement helps spread this message to others who desperately need it. Now let's shatter some myths about happiness and success. Most people have been conditioned to believe they need to accumulate more possessions to achieve satisfaction. But thousands of years of Eastern wisdom reveals a profound truth. The less we attach ourselves to material objects, the more expansive space we create for experiences, relationships, and inner peace that genuinely matter. I'm going to share with you secrets that may initially appear deceptively simple, yet possess the extraordinary power to deliver mental clarity, emotional tranquility, and even dramatically improve your most important relationships. Picture waking up each morning in an environment that instills calm rather than anxiety. Imagine having additional time, extra money, and significantly reduced stress levels. This transformation becomes entirely achievable when you embrace these time-tested practices that integrate seamlessly with contemporary living. If you're exhausted from feeling constantly overwhelmed, mentally confused, or simply yearning to live with greater purpose and intention, this comprehensive guide will fundamentally alter your life's trajectory. Let's begin with our first principle, which has single-handedly transformed thousands of lives of those who've implemented my guidance. Habit 1. Reverence for empty space. The first transformative habit that possesses the power to completely revolutionize your existence is developing a profound reverence and appreciation for empty space. Within traditional Eastern philosophical frameworks, emptiness isn't perceived as a void requiring immediate filling, but rather as an essential, sacred element that enables everything else to breathe harmoniously and exist in perfect balance. Consider this carefully. When you enter a room completely saturated with furniture, decorative objects, and miscellaneous items, what sensation arises within you? Typically, you experience a profound sense of heaviness, almost suffocation, as though the very air has become too dense for comfortable circulation. Now, contrast this with the immediate feeling of stepping into a space where thoughtful balance exists between meaningful objects and open, uncluttered areas. The difference strikes you instantaneously and registers physically in your body while simultaneously calming your mind. The fundamental problem confronting most of us lies in our conditioning by contemporary society to perceive empty spaces as wasted opportunities. We've been programmed to believe that a wall without artwork, a shelf without ornaments, or a corner without furniture represents something fundamentally incomplete or inadequate. However, reality presents the exact opposite truth. Empty space serves as the foundation that allows us to genuinely appreciate and value what remains present. To implement this principle practically, begin by selecting one specific room in your home, perhaps your bedroom, living area, or even a compact home office. remove at least 1/3 of the accumulated clutter from this space. I'm not suggesting you permanently discard everything immediately. Instead, temporarily relocate these items to another area. Live consciously within this more liberated environment for 1 full week, paying careful attention to how you feel emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Countless individuals report experiencing immediate relief, as though an invisible burden has been lifted not only from their physical surroundings, but also from their mental landscape. This isn't merely imagination. It's a documented psychological phenomenon where physical space directly influences mental space. The benefits extend far beyond mere aesthetic improvements. When we consciously create physical space, we simultaneously generate mental clarity. We become less easily distracted, more capable of sustained focus on truly important matters. Our thinking becomes clearer, our decision-making processes improve dramatically, and perhaps most remarkably, we begin naturally appreciating each remaining object with genuine gratitude for items that truly enhance our lives. Habit 2. A designated home for everything. Our second life transformative habit involves assigning one specific, intentional location to every single item within your living space. This elegantly simple yet profoundly effective practice forms the cornerstone of Eastern organizing philosophy and possesses the remarkable ability to completely eliminate daily chaos from your existence. When each possession has its own designated home, you eliminate the primary source of clutter, wayward objects that inevitably accumulate on any available surface. Reflect on how frequently you've squandered precious time searching for keys, important documents, eyeglasses, or other essential items. Now multiply those wasted minutes by weeks, months, and years. That represents a staggering amount of life energy lost simply because we failed to establish permanent homes for these necessities. The root of this problem lies in our habit of placing items wherever feels convenient in the immediate moment, without considering future consequences. Mail sometimes lands on the kitchen table, keys sometimes disappear into coat pockets, sometimes into random drawers, and so forth. This randomness creates perpetual low-level stress and wastes tremendous mental energy. To apply this transformative principle, start by identifying the 10 items you utilize most frequently throughout your daily routine. These might include your smartphone, keys, wallet, eyeglasses, medications, or any other indispensable objects. Designate one specific, logical location for each item, considering where you would naturally use or store them based on your existing activity patterns. The crucial element here involves choosing locations that align seamlessly with your natural behavioral flow. If you consistently check your phone immediately upon waking, perhaps a dedicated charging station on your nightstand represents the ideal solution. A beautiful small basket positioned near your front entrance can become the permanent residence for your keys and wallet. The benefits of implementing this practice manifest immediately and profoundly. First, you virtually eliminate the unnecessary stress associated with searching for misplaced items. Second, your entire home automatically feels more organized and intentional, since objects no longer scatter randomly across surfaces. Third, and perhaps most significantly, you begin developing a more conscious, respectful relationship with your belongings, treating each item with appropriate consideration and care. Habit 3. Conscious elimination of excess. The third habit, destined to transform your life permanently, involves the consistent, mindful practice of eliminating excess from every area of your existence. Eastern wisdom contains a profound concept, teaching us that genuine wealth doesn't stem from possessing numerous items, but from requiring very little. When we liberate ourselves from the burden of owning unnecessary possessions, we create not only physical space, but also emotional and mental freedom within our lives. The significant challenge we face in today's consumer-driven society involves unconscious accumulation. We purchase items we don't genuinely need, retain objects just in case, and accept gifts or free items without questioning whether they serve any authentic purpose in our current reality. This silent accumulation grows steadily until one day we suddenly realize we're suffocating beneath our own possessions. To apply this principle practically, I recommend implementing what I call the 5 essential questions method. Take any object within your home and honestly ask yourself these critical questions. Have I actually used this item within the past 12 months? Does this object bring me genuine joy, utility, or meaningful connection? If I lost this item tomorrow, would I actively choose to replace it? Does this possession serve a clear, definable purpose in my current lifestyle? Could something better, more functional, or more meaningful occupy this space? If you answer no to at least 3 of these questions, it's time to seriously consider whether retaining this item truly serves your highest good. Here's an illuminating real-life example. One woman who diligently applied this method discovered she had accumulated 8 complete sets of bed linens despite having only 2 beds in her entire home. By honestly answering all 5 questions, she realized she genuinely needed only 2 sets per bed for practical rotation. She donated the excess linens and reported feeling incredibly liberated after making this simple yet powerful decision. The benefits of consciously eliminating excess prove transformative across multiple dimensions of life. First, you reclaim significant time previously spent organizing, cleaning, and searching through unnecessary items. Second, you save considerable money because you begin shopping with much greater consciousness and intention. Third, and perhaps most importantly, you reclaim your attention and mental energy, which were previously drained by visual clutter and the overwhelming burden of choice that excess possessions create in our daily environment. Habit 4. Embracing beautiful imperfection. Our 4th transformative habit involves learning to genuinely appreciate and celebrate the imperfect and incomplete aspects of life. Traditional Eastern philosophy contains a profound concept that finds extraordinary beauty in imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete things. This worldview teaches us that perfection isn't a static state to be achieved, but rather an ongoing journey to be fully experienced and enjoyed, complete with all its natural flaws, quirks, and authentic characteristics. The problem countless individuals face in our contemporary world involves the relentless, exhausting pursuit of artificial perfection. We desperately want the perfect home, the perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect relationship. This constant striving leaves us perpetually dissatisfied, always focused on what we perceive as lacking, instead of genuinely appreciating what we already possess in abundance. To practice this liberating principle, begin by consciously noticing objects within your home that display signs of natural wear, aging, and authentic use. That beloved wooden table bearing marks that tell rich stories of countless family meals shared in love. That favorite mug with a small chip that reminds you of a precious, irreplaceable moment. Instead of viewing these characteristics as problems requiring immediate fixing, train yourself to see them as unique features that make these objects authentic and filled with meaningful history. Here's a touching practical example. I know someone who inherited an antique dresser from her beloved grandmother. Rather than restoring it to appear artificially new, she deliberately preserved the scratches and usage marks, understanding that each imperfection carried within it a precious story from her grandmother's rich, full life. This dresser transformed from merely a piece of furniture into a treasured repository of family memories and generational connection. The benefits of wholeheartedly embracing imperfection prove profoundly liberating across all areas of life. First, you free yourself completely from the constant, exhausting pressure to maintain everything in artificially perfect condition, which dramatically reduces daily stress and anxiety. Second, you develop a more compassionate, accepting perspective not only toward objects, but also toward yourself and others, understanding that imperfections represent natural, beautiful aspects of authentic existence. Third, you begin valuing genuineness and authenticity over superficial appearances, which naturally leads to more honest, meaningful, and deeply satisfying relationships with others. Habit 5. Culinary simplicity and mindful nourishment. The fifth transformative habit emerges from the Eastern culinary tradition and involves wholeheartedly embracing simplicity in our relationship with food and mealtimes. This principle teaches us that a meal doesn't require complexity or elaborate preparation to provide complete nutrition and deep satisfaction. In fact, the simpler and fresher the ingredients, the more fully we can appreciate their natural flavors, nutritional benefits, and connection to the earth that sustains us. The problem many of us encounter today involves our disconnect from food and its pure natural state. We consume ultra-processed foods containing endless lists of ingredients we can barely pronounce, much less understand. Our meals have become unnecessarily complicated, extremely time-consuming to prepare, and, ironically, far less satisfying despite all the effort, time, and resources invested. To implement this principle of culinary simplicity, start by consciously reducing the number of ingredients in your meals. Challenge yourself to create nourishing dishes containing no more than 5 main ingredients, all fresh, seasonal, and minimally processed. Focus intently on the quality of these ingredients rather than the quantity or complexity of your preparation methods. As a practical illustration, instead of preparing an elaborate dinner requiring multiple dishes and complicated sauces, try gently steaming fresh seasonal vegetables, accompanying them with a wholesome whole grain and a simple, high-quality protein seasoned only with fresh herbs and a drizzle of premium olive oil. The result becomes a perfectly balanced, delicious meal that can be prepared in less than 30 minutes while providing superior nutrition and genuine satisfaction. The benefits of this approach prove remarkable across multiple dimensions of daily life. First, you save significant time, both in preparation and cleanup processes. Second, you develop a much greater appreciation for the natural, inherent flavors of whole foods, which often leads to healthier eating choices throughout your entire lifestyle. Third, you tend to waste considerably less food since you purchase only what you genuinely need and utilize ingredients in their entirety. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, you transform the act of eating from merely another task to be completed in a rushed day into a moment of presence, gratitude, and genuine nourishment for body and soul. Habit 6. Cultivating present moment awareness. The sixth habit destined to transform your life emerges directly from Eastern meditative traditions. The practice of cultivating present moment awareness throughout daily activities. Contrary to common misconceptions, this isn't a practice reserved exclusively for monks or spiritual practitioners, but rather a practical, learnable skill that anyone can develop to live more consciously, intentionally, and fulfillingly. The fundamental challenge we face in modern society involves constant, overwhelming distraction. Our daily existence is characterized by multitasking, endless digital interruptions, and a perpetual sensation of rushing through life. We're rarely fully present in our current activities. We eat while watching television, engage in conversations while checking messages, and even attempt to relax while mentally planning the next day's obligations. This fragmentation of attention robs us of the ability to fully experience and appreciate the present moment. To apply this principle effectively, start by selecting one simple daily activity to perform with complete, undivided attention. This could be brushing your teeth, washing dishes, or walking to your destination. During this chosen activity, commit to maintaining all of your attention focused on the direct sensory experience of the present moment. If you're washing dishes, for example, notice the exact temperature of the water against your skin, the texture and appearance of the soap foam, the sounds created by the dishes, the scent of the cleaning products. Whenever you notice your mind wandering to future concerns or past memories, gently guide your attention back to the immediate, present activity without judgment or frustration. Here's a powerful real-life example. I know someone who completely transformed her relationship with anxiety by dedicating just 10 minutes daily to drinking a cup of tea in complete mindfulness, without any distractions like phones, television, or conversations. Initially challenging, this simple ritual evolved into a powerful daily moment of reconnection with herself and the present moment. The benefits of this practice are scientifically documented and profoundly transformative. First, you experience significant reductions in stress and anxiety levels as your mind stops fixating on worries about uncertain futures. Second, your ability to concentrate and focus improves dramatically across all areas of life. Third, you develop much greater appreciation for the small joys and simple pleasures of everyday existence, which increases your overall sense of life satisfaction and contentment. Habit 7. Seasonal renewal and natural rhythms. The seventh transformative habit originates from ancient Eastern traditions of living in harmony with natural seasonal cycles, the practice of seasonal renewal and alignment with natural rhythms. This concept teaches us to consciously align our lives, homes, and daily routines with the natural rhythm of changing seasons, allowing for regular periods of renewal, reflection, and intentional transformation. The problem most of us face in the modern world involves living completely disconnected from natural cycles. With artificial lighting, climate control systems, and year-round food availability, we've lost touch with the seasonal changes that our ancestors deeply respected and integrated into their lives. This disconnect often leads to stagnant lifestyles where we unconsciously accumulate not only objects, but also habits, relationships, and commitments that no longer serve our highest good or current life circumstances. To implement this principle effectively, establish a meaningful renewal ritual coinciding with each seasonal transition. This means dedicating a full day or weekend 4 times annually to thoughtfully evaluate different aspects of your life and make conscious adjustments as needed. During these renewal periods, systematically go through your wardrobe and remove items you no longer wear or that don't serve your current lifestyle. Rearrange the spaces in your home to reflect the needs and energy of the approaching season. Reevaluate your commitments and routines, asking yourself honestly what continues working well and what requires adjustment or complete elimination. Here's an inspiring practical example. A family I know has made seasonal transitions meaningful events they experience together. They collaboratively put away items from the previous season and mindfully bring out items needed for the upcoming months. Simultaneously, they review calendars, evaluate extracurricular activities, and reorganize their home environment. The children actively participate by donating toys and clothes they've outgrown. The result is a home that stays current and functional, and a family that feels renewed and intentional every 3 months. The benefits of seasonal renewal cycles prove numerous and profound. First, you prevent excessive accumulation since you regularly reevaluate what truly needs to be retained. Second, your home remains functional and perfectly adapted to present moment needs rather than past circumstances. Third, you develop greater awareness of time's passage and life's natural changes, which can lead to a healthier, more accepting relationship with impermanence and life transitions. Habit 8. Daily gratitude as a way of life. The eighth transformative habit emerges from Eastern spiritual traditions, the conscious, intentional cultivation of daily gratitude. This principle teaches us that true abundance doesn't come from acquiring more possessions, but from deeply appreciating and acknowledging what we already possess. Practicing gratitude isn't merely a spiritual exercise. It's a scientifically proven tool for completely transforming our perception of reality and our lived experience. The problem many of us encounter in contemporary society involves our tendency to focus primarily on what we perceive as missing from our lives. Media and advertising constantly bombard us with subtle messages suggesting we don't have enough, that we aren't enough as we currently are. This scarcity mentality traps us in cycles of chronic dissatisfaction and relentless searching for more, even when we already possess far more than we genuinely need for happiness and fulfillment. To apply this principle effectively, establish a simple yet powerful gratitude ritual at both the beginning and end of each day. In the morning, before even getting out of bed, identify 3 specific things for which you feel genuinely grateful. These can be as simple as your comfortable bed, the air you breathe freely, or the new day beginning with fresh possibilities. At night, before settling into sleep, reflect on 3 positive moments that occurred during the day, regardless of how simple or small they might seem. Here's a transformative, real-life example. I knew someone struggling with severe depression after losing her job unexpectedly. She began practicing daily gratitude as part of her recovery process, writing down 3 good things in a dedicated notebook each evening. Initially, finding things to appreciate felt challenging, but over time, this simple exercise literally retrained her brain to notice positive aspects of her daily experience. 6 months later, not only had her mental health improved significantly, but her ability to recognize and create new opportunities had enhanced dramatically as well. The benefits of cultivating genuine gratitude are scientifically documented and truly life-changing. First, you experience measurably higher levels of happiness and emotional well-being. Second, your resilience when facing challenges increases significantly, as you're better able to find meaning and opportunity within difficult circumstances. Third, your relationships tend to improve naturally as you begin appreciating the people around you more deeply and expressing that appreciation. Fourth, you naturally become less materialistic as your satisfaction increasingly comes from experiences, connections, and simple pleasures rather than from acquiring possessions. Habit 9. Finding beauty in functional design. The 9th transformative habit originates from traditional Eastern aesthetics, discovering beauty in utility and utility in beauty. This principle teaches us that the most genuinely beautiful objects are often those that perfectly fulfill their intended function, and that we don't have to choose between what is practical and what is visually pleasing. In fact, authentic beauty emerges naturally when form and function exist in perfect, harmonious balance. The problem many of us encounter in contemporary living involves the artificial separation between beauty and utility. We purchase decorative objects that serve no purpose beyond their appearance while simultaneously tolerating functional items that are visually unappealing or poorly designed. Our homes often become divided between what is useful but aesthetically unpleasing and what is beautiful but practically useless, creating a constant sense of disharmony and visual confusion. To apply this principle practically, begin by reevaluating the objects in your everyday environment with fresh eyes. When you need to replace something, Ask yourself these important questions. Does this object combine form and function harmoniously? Does it fulfill its intended purpose excellently while simultaneously bringing beauty and joys to my daily experience? Am I willing to invest slightly more in something that will last significantly longer and bring me daily satisfaction rather than settling for cheap, disposable alternatives? Here's a compelling practical example. A friend needed new kitchen utensils for meal preparation. Instead of purchasing the cheapest plastic set available, she saved a bit more money and invested in individual wooden pieces crafted by local artisans. These utensils not only perform their functions perfectly, but are also beautiful enough to be displayed openly in an attractive vase on the counter rather than hidden away in a drawer. She reports that the simple act of cooking has become more enjoyable and meditative thanks to the beauty and quality of the tools she uses daily. The benefits of adopting this principle prove profound and long-lasting across multiple areas of life. First, you consume less but better, investing in pieces that you truly value and that serve you well over time. Second, your living space becomes more coherent and harmonious without the artificial division between functional and decorative elements. Third, you develop a more refined appreciation for quality design and craftsmanship, learning to appreciate excellence in the small details of everyday life. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, you create an environment that nourishes your senses and elevates routine daily activities into small rituals of aesthetic appreciation and mindful living. Habit 10. Minimalism of commitments and time. The 10th and final transformative habit emerges from Eastern wisdom regarding time management, commitment minimalism. This principle teaches us that just as we can accumulate too many physical objects that clutter our spaces, we also tend to overload our schedules with commitments that drain our energy and scatter our focus across too many directions. True time abundance comes not from having more hours available, but from dedicating the hours we have to what genuinely matters most in our lives. The central problem we face in modern society involves what we might call commitment cramming. We accept invitations, take on responsibilities, and commit to activities often out of habit, social obligation, or fear of missing out on potentially valuable experiences. The result becomes a frantically paced life where we're constantly rushing from one commitment to the next, with no time to breathe deeply, reflect meaningfully, or simply exist peacefully in the present moment. To apply this principle effectively, start by conducting an honest audit of all your current commitments and obligations. Create a comprehensive list of all regular activities that consume your time, from work meetings to social engagements to leisure activities and volunteer commitments. For each item on your list, ask yourself these 3 fundamental questions. Does this commitment bring genuine joy, meaning, or purpose to my life? Does this commitment align authentically with my deepest values and current priorities? If I could travel back in time, would I make this commitment again, knowing what I know now? If you answer no to any of these questions, it's time to seriously consider whether this commitment deserves a place in your precious life. Here's an eye-opening real-life example. I know a professional who realized he was participating in 5 different community committees on top of his demanding family and work responsibilities. By honestly asking himself these 3 questions, he recognized that only 2 of these committees truly excited him and aligned with his core values and life purpose. He graciously removed himself from the other 3 groups and reported an immediate dramatic transformation in his quality of life, even without changing anything else in his daily routine. The benefits of commitment minimalism proved immense and immediate across all areas of life. First, you reclaim significant time and energy that were previously scattered across multiple competing directions. Second, you become more present and focused in the activities you consciously choose to pursue, which increases both your effectiveness and your personal satisfaction. Third, you create essential space for genuine rest and spontaneity, which are crucial for creativity, innovation, and overall well-being. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, you regain a powerful sense of being in control of your own life rather than being constantly driven by external expectations and demands from others. We've reached the conclusion of this transformative journey through 10 Eastern minimalist habits that possess the power to fundamentally change your life forever. As we've discovered together, these ancient practices aren't simply about owning fewer possessions, they're about consciously creating space for more meaning, more joy, more peace, and more authentic connection in our daily existence. Remember that genuine transformation doesn't happen overnight or through perfectionistic efforts. I encourage you to start by choosing just one of these habits that resonates most strongly with you and incorporating it into your routine for several weeks before moving on to the next principle. The most important element isn't achieving perfection, but maintaining consistency and bringing conscious intention behind each small change you make. By embracing these timeless principles, you're not merely organizing your home or simplifying your schedule, you're cultivating a completely new mindset, a different way of seeing and interacting with the world around you. This is a mindset based on awareness, gratitude, and deep recognition of what truly matters in life. If this content has resonated with you and provided value, please subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive more transformative videos like this one. Your journey toward a more meaningful, less overwhelmed life is just beginning, and I'm here to support and guide you through every step of this process. And now, I leave you with an important question to reflect upon and share in the comments below. Which of these 10 habits do you believe could bring the most immediate, positive transformation to your current life circumstances? Share your thoughts below, and let's create a supportive community of individuals committed to transformation through the powerful practice of intentional simplicity. Together, we're not just changing our homes, we're changing our lives, one conscious choice at a time.